Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the respected dignitaries, distinguished speakers, honorable participants, loving audience, and all beautiful people present here today from all around the globe. I, Ms. Nada Ratkovic, IIU co-founder, President of Research Center, IIU board member, country director of IIU Croatia, welcome you all to the International Conference 2023 on the theme Education for Sustainable Development, the day one, organized jointly by Global Community for Education 2030, International Internship University, and IIU Research Center. Think, act, change. Education for Sustainable Development. Today, we know the importance of SDG education, and it is multi-phased the nature, and today it will be demonstrated by the fact of our estimated guest speakers, educators from all around the world, and they will say and present in a number of ways what they are doing. So that is the United Nations 2030 agenda. Let me first introduce our great organizers. Global Community for Education 2030 has been formed to promote and implement United Nations 2030 agenda, the SDG 4 for making education accessible to all through partnerships, policy guidance, capacity development, monitoring, and advocacy. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is a plan of action for people, planet, and prosperity, comprises the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goal 4 is the education goal to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Education 2030 is in the declaration and framework for the action of implementation of SDG 4. Professor Pradipta Mandal is the founder of Global Educators Forum, Global Metaverse Community, and he is the founder of Global Community for Education 2030. Mr. Piyush Pandit is the founder of International Internship University and the president of Global Community for Education 2030. Me, Professor Nada Ratkovic, is the president of IIU Research Center and the COO of the Global Community for Education 2030. Dr. Snikta Kadam is the COO of International Internship University, and she is the chairperson of Global Community for Education 2030. International Internship University is our organizer second, and it is a leading virtual education system, a global brand confederation, and it is the most valuable and trusted worldwide and well reputed in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it is a trusted name for quality training programs, and it is providing a better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit. The sky is the limit for his dedication and hard work. IIU Research Center is a unique hub establishment by IIU is giving opportunity for all, for researchers, for authors, for educators, for students, for scholars across the globe, and is enhancing the research opportunities, academic excellence, real-world problem solving, knowledge creation, and dissemination. Me, Professor Nada Ratkovic, as the president of IIU Research thinks, if you have ever thought about how would be the world without education, research, science, innovation, technology, or any development, then the IIU Research Center, IIU, the Global Community Education 2030 are the right places for you. So let's acquire a knowledge today of future education. We know that today this is we started from the January, February, March. This is our third conference. We had an amazing conference. We had an amazing summit. And Global Community for Education is a place where teachers are able to share their knowledge, experience around the world. And we know that education is an integral part of achieving sustainable development through the newly adopted 2030 agenda. So that is the focus of Education 2030. We want to increase and expand access, inclusion, and equity, quality, and learning outcomes at all the levels within a lifelong learning approach. Before we started our program, also I want to give a very, very important notice. Please, International Internship University is organizing an amazing Climate Science Olympiad 2023. Become a part of this global movement to address climate change. So, as a participant, you will have an opportunity to work towards finding innovation solutions to pressing issues of climate change, focusing on all the SDGs, and it will be on the occasion of World Earth Day 2023 in the Life Forest at E-Village. This is a dream of our Sir Piyush Pandit. And finally, Sir Piyush Pandit's dream is coming a reality. He's giving a big contribution toward education. We have so many SDG projects, and now at E-Village on the occasion of World Earth Day, there will be the planting, and this Olympiad with amazing students from all around will join. So please join this Climate Science Olympiad and contribute towards achieving the SDGs. So today we are starting our amazing conference. We have a beautiful lady. We have a smart lady. She is today a master of the ceremony. She's coming from Indonesia. Miss Herdiana Devi Nurfika, an entrepreneur, a certified NLP practitioner, life coach, mentor, mental health advocate, CEO and founder of Bliss Education Center. I want to wish to all the strong, beautiful ladies here on the stage and to our great participants, lady, a very happy and blessed International Women's Day, because we know that Women's Day is not only one day, 1 week, 1 month, every day. And this is, I can say, also a celebration of great brain, woman brain and mind. And our amazing Miss Herdiana is working a lot on this field. When I see her, when I hear her, I always think about my life. So welcome, beautiful Herdiana. Today, enlighten us with your speech, with introduction, and leading this great conference today.
Thank you so much, my dear friend, Professor Nadia. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you to all in this international conference on education for sustainable development. And as we all know that the world is facing many challenges such as climate change, environmental degradation, poverty, inequality, and social injustice. And these challenges require immediate attention and action from all of us, not only from one country. So education for sustainable development is a critical tool that can equip individuals and communities with the knowledge, skills, and values necessary to address these global challenges and work towards a more sustainable future. And this conference, which is really special, I do believe it can bring together experts, educators around the world to share their knowledge, experience, and the best practice in promoting ESD. So through our keynote speakers today, we will explore different aspects of ESD and discuss how it can be integrated into education system at all levels, from primary schools to a university. So I believe that this conference will serve as a platform for meaningful and fruitful discussion and collaborations towards a more sustainable world and I do really wish all the best for all the speakers today. And remember that each speaker has 10 to 15 minutes. But because we have so many speakers for today, maybe 10 minutes is going to the best. So without any further ado, let's welcome our first speaker for today, Mr. Ajit Kumar from India. He's founder and CEO of Eco Sati Green India Private Limited. Please welcome, sir. The stage is yours.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, Ajit.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Let me share my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
it's
yes.
visible.
You need to
Okay.
put it on full screen.
That is the, I
That's
think that is
okay.
the full screen. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah. As long
let
as you
me
can
let
move
me
the
start.
slides, it's okay.
Yeah. So good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the distinguished guests and speakers. So thank you so much. I'm really privileged and honored to be getting an opportunity to speak on education and sustainable development. I am Ajit Kumar Palai from Bhubaneswar, India. I am the founder and CEO of a startup named EcoSathi, and and before proceeding, I'll actually explain regarding our startup, what we do and what we are. So, EcoSathi basically it is an initiative on sustainable products. So we are dealing with various kinds of eco-friendly products so as to reduce plastic pollution. The main objective is to reduce plastic pollution, because you all know that plastic pollution has been the dangerous problem across the world. So around 14 million tons of plastic getting gathered in the ocean, which causes death to marine animals and indirectly to the human beings. Microplastics have been also found in the lungs, human blood, and human breast milk. So it's really important to actually take care of all those things, and to avoid those things, and get used to some kind of sustainable products. So keeping in mind, we have actually initiated this startup so as to lead an organic lifestyle for our daily for our lovable consumers. Few pictures have been actually shown as far as our startup is concerned. And in this mission, also in this initiative, we engage the local artisans so as to make their lifestyle better, and increase their income level as well. So we are also creating a kind of livelihood mission in this through this initiative, and we are totally committed towards also that. As part of, as far as sustainable development goals are concerned, we are also dedicated towards these four SDGs: good health and well-being, decent work and economic growth, sustainable cities and communities, climate action. These four SDGs, we are also working hard so as to actually fulfill these four SDGs as far as our initiative is concerned. So let me So I'll explain about the SDG 4, that is quality education. What is education? What education is really important for the timing, and obviously it ensures an inclusive and equitable quality education to promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. So education is really important, because why? Because it liberates the intellect, it unlocks the imagination, it is also fundamental for self-respect, and it is also key to prosperity, and opens a world of opportunity, so as to make a kind of image that the knowledge is really important for the timing, because whatever you know, that makes you a kind of what a good human being in the society, contributing towards a progressive and healthy society. And it also benefits for all human beings, so that so that we will be definitely taking some good outcome from this quality education. So as far as sustainability is concerned, I'll say a few things regarding the sustainability. So sustainability is broadly categorized as like broadly indicated the programs, initiatives, or actions being taken off to for a particular resource to get preserved. So categorically, these are the four pillars of sustainability: human sustainability, social sustainability, economic sustainability, and environmental sustainability. So human sustain what is human sustainability? It's like to it is aiming at improving the human capital, and social is also preserving and aiming at the social capital in the society so as to get preserved our resources. Economic sustainability, it is related to capital intact, and environmental sustainability, it is also related to our environmental factors. Let's say, suppose if I talk about the natural resources, we need to preserve those land, air, water, and the minerals. Those are the things as far as four pillars of sustainability is concerned. So there are a few principles, seven principles of education for sustainability. By living sustainably, National Action Plan on Education for Sustainability 2009. So I have actually captured few principles, so that it is based upon the education for sustainability is based upon these principles: transformation and change, education for all in lifelong learning, systems thinking, envisioning a better future, critical thinking and reflection, participation, partnership for change. I think these seven principles can collectively actually make an effort so as to get a quality education, so as to bring a kind of collective effort in the society, and build communities to make a better future and sustainable future. So today I'll be speaking about the sustainable development in bamboo sector, because we are dealing with, and obviously bamboo is the future actually, and bamboo is also considered as the known as the green gold. So if there is like 1 hectare of bamboo and 1 hectare of forest area, bamboo produces 35% of more oxygen than the same area of forest, and it also consumes 40% of carbon dioxide, more carbon dioxide in the same area. These are the 9 applications as far as bamboo is concerned. So the first one is toothbrush, bamboo toothbrushes, because you all know that since the invention of plastic toothbrushes, the handle is still existing in the ocean, which is causing the world a very catastrophic kind of activity, like a havoc kind of activity, so as to what reduce that plastic pollution. We are dealing with these bamboo toothbrushes, tongue cleaner, and so many utility products as far as bamboo is concerned. So this is one of the application, and second is building. For the timing, actually, bamboo is also being used as different kinds of infrastructure buildings, because the tensile strength of bamboo is definitely more than the tensile strength of steel. So it is being used as a pillar for various houses, various constructions, and China, Bali, everywhere actually, in India also it is being used for cottages, for various kinds of constructions. And the fiber, the bamboo is also being used to make fibers, to make clothes, to make these tableware products. These things are really important as far as this green gold bamboo is concerned. We are also making furnitures from bamboo, and second is bio-CNG. What is bio-CNG? Because you all know the petrol and diesel. These are the traditional what gases which are really kind of what produce. It actually makes the environment polluted. So bio CNG is also being produced by the help of bamboo, because it has been researched that 8 kg of bamboo biomass would produce 1 kg of CNG, which is really an important aspect as far as bio-CNG is concerned. And because bamboo grows very high, like 1 meter a day, so it is really helpful, and it will be easier for the companies to produce actually bio-CNG out of bamboo. And from bamboo also we produce like charcoals and briquettes. So charcoal is used for various kind of purposes, for cholesterol purposes. Cholesterol level is higher, then charcoal is being used, face wash everywhere. And briquettes also being used, briquettes are also being used in various industries, because coals are being extincted, so briquettes are being used for various kinds of industries, so as to run their industry and make electricity out of that as well. Handicraft product also being what produced out of bamboo. And if I talk about cycles are also being what produced cycle are also being made out of bamboo, because in Indonesia, Taiwan, and Philippines, in India as well, in so many countries across the globe, people are also what making bamboo cycles. So this why this is important, because it does not create any pollution as far as mobility is concerned. So and it is really important that we are going towards a sustainable future. And plantation. So bamboo is also will also provide a kind of revenue based model if you actually do the plantation part as well. So because plantation really helps a person to make their revenue, to make their what environment a kind of sustainable one. So that plantation is really important. So after plantation, what bamboo is getting actually cut, and then after end products are being made. So why these things I've told? Because if we would actually, if we would have known these things from the what student level, then obviously we could have actually done something better. So I'm really what I'm really curious and focused that if from the academia level, from the student level, from the very beginning, if these things are being actually taught in the educational life, then obviously students can actually do so many things. They can do definitely better what we do right now, because we are doing our R&D, we are learning things and making it a practical one. But as far as education is concerned, in the sustainable development part, if these things can be taught from the very beginning, then obviously they will get to know and how many things, what is the product to be chosen, to be taken, and what are the products to be avoided, how much carbon dioxide it is emitting to our environment. Those are the topics, those are the subjects. Circular economy, sustainable development, sustainability, all these things need to be captured from the very beginning, from the academia level, so that the students can get to know, can be aware of what things are going on around the world. And because what happens actually, suppose let's say people are doing, like people complete their education, people, and then do their job, and then after what happens actually, after due course of time, like in the retirement, is they think about the sustainable one, they think about the environment. Oh my god, something happens actually, we need to take care of our environment. And by that time actually everything is finished. So we have to take care of our environment with a cumulative effort, with a collective effort, by creating communities, by building some kind of student level participation. So all those things can be actually enabled from the academia level, from the university level, from the college level or school level, so that they can be aware of what things are going on as far as sustainable development is concerned. Thank you so much. That's all from my side.
Thank you so much for your great presentation. Let's give him a big applause for really fruitful presentation and well mannered in the time as well. We do really appreciate it. So now let's call our second speaker. We have a beautiful woman from Saudi Arabia. She is Dr. Niara Ratuan. from Faculty of Engineering, King Abdul Aziz University, Saudi Arabia. Welcome, Dr. Niara. Let's enlighten us with your knowledge.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Can I share my screen, please?
Yes, yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's visible now.
Yes, it's visible. Can you put it in a full screen?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, now it's in full screen.
Okay, perfect.
First of all, greetings to all from Saudi Arabia. Actually, I am Egyptian, not from Saudi Arabia, but I am working now in Saudi Arabia. I'm Yara Radwan, working as associate professor in the mechanical department, Faculty of Engineering in Suez Canal University in Egypt. But now I'm working as associate professor also and the quality assurance officer for the PhD program in King Abdulaziz University in Saudi Arabia. So greetings from both Egypt and Saudi Arabia. I'm so happy to be today with you in the International Conference on Education for Sustainable Development. All appreciation and thanks for International Internship University and the Research Center for their invitation. All appreciation also to Professor Nada and all the organizing team for their great effort. Today, I will focus about education. This is a topic for the conference. I will focus about SDG number 4, which is ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all, which is a SDG number 4 for Sustainable Development Goal for the United Nations. First of all, what is sustainable development? It is a model for development that we can maintain and support. It is the shared, holistic, and long-term vision that countries have agreed upon to be the best path forward for improving the lives of people everywhere. So sustainable development promotes prosperity and economic opportunity, greater social well-being, and protection of the environment. So we can understand that development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Actually, we have 17 sustainable development goals. As we see in the screen, these are the 17 goals, but we have to focus today about SDG 4, which is education. But let's understand the key elements of SDG, Sustainable Development Goal. The key elements of Sustainable Development Goals are, as we see in the figure, we have 3 key elements: economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection, all of which are addressed by the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and they're interconnected with each other. So the global indicator framework includes specific targets and indicators for each goal. As we said, that our target today is SDG 4, which is ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030. Why Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which is education, is important? We have academic results said that we have 750 million adults are literate, feeling poverty and marginalization. Ambitions for education are essentially captured in SDG 4 of the 2030 agenda, which aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030. The United Nations put for Sustainable Development Goal number 4, 7 targets and 3 means. 7 targets for expected outcomes and 3 means for implementation. So these targets and these means should be achieved by the year 2030. So today we will focus about, we will have a brief introduction about these 7 targets and these 3 means. The 7 targets are: number 1, universal primary and secondary education. Number 2, we have to early childhood development and universal pre-primary education. Number 3, equal access to technical, vocational, and higher education. Number 4, relevant skills for decent work. Number 5, gender equality and inclusion. Number 6, universal youth literacy. And number 7 is education for sustainable development and global citizenship. These are the 7 targets which should be implemented and achieved by the year 2030. The 3 means of implementations are effective learning environments, scholarships, and teachers and educators. These are the targets and means as we see, and I will give some solutions for each of these targets. For example, for target 4.1, which is by 2030, ensure that all girls and boys complete free, equitable, and quality primary and secondary education. We can see that the provision of 12 years of free, publicity-funded, inclusive, equitable, quality primary and secondary education, of which at least 9 years are compulsory, leading to relevant learning outcomes. It should be ensured for all without discrimination. This is for the first target. For the second target, 4.2, which is ensure that all girls and boys have access to quality early childhood development, the provision of at least 1 year of free and compulsory quality primary education is encouraged to be delivered by well-trained educators, as well as that of early childhood development and care. For target 4.3, by 2030, ensure equal access for all women and men to affordable and quality technical, vocational, and tertiary education, inclusive university. It could be achieved by, we can understand that it is imperative to reduce barriers to skill development and technical and vocational education and training, starting from the secondary level, as well as to tertiary education, including university, and to provide lifelong learning opportunities for youth and adults. The provision of tertiary education should be made progressively free in line with existing international agreements. For target 4.4, which is sustainably increase the number of youth and adults who have relevant skills, including technical and vocational skills. We can achieve this target by two ideas. For example, for equitable access to TVET needs to be expanded while quality is ensured. It means learning opportunities should be increased and diversified using a wide range of education and training models, so that all youth and adults, especially girls and women, can acquire relevant knowledge, skills, and competences for decent work and life. Another target which should be achieved, skills acquisition. Beyond work-specific skills, emphasis must be placed on developing high-level cognitive and non-cognitive skills, such as problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, and teamwork. For target 4.5, we can focus about inclusion and equality. All people irrespective of sex, age, race, color, language, political or other opinion, Also about gender equality. All girls and boys, women and men should have equal opportunity to enjoy education of high quality, achieve at equal level and enjoy equal benefits for education. For target 4.6, the principles, strategies, and actions for this target are underpinned by the contemporary understanding of literacy of a continuous of proficiency levels in a given context. It goes beyond the understanding of a symbol the symbol of the autonomy of letters versions letters. Therefore, action for this target aims to ensure that by 2030, all young people and adults across the world should have achieved relevant and recognized proficiency levels in functional literacy and numeracy skills. For target 4.7, it could be achieved by it is a vital to give a central place to strengthening education's contribution to the fulfillment of human rights, peace, and responsible citizenship from the local to global levels. About the means, we have three means. For target 4.8, this target addresses the need of adequate physical infrastructure and safe inclusive environment that nurture learning for all, regardless of background or disability status. And for target 4.p, it could be achieved by it's focus about scholarship programs. It can play a vital role in providing opportunities for young people and adults who would otherwise not be able to afford continue their education. And finally, for target 4.C, it's about teachers. Teachers are the key to achieving all the SDG 4 targets. It requires urgent attention with a more immediate deadline because the equity gap in education is important, as teachers are a fundamental condition for achieving this target. We have to focus about teachers, about improving teachers and educators. They should be empowered and adequately required and motivated, professionally qualified, and supported within well-resourced, efficient, and effectively government system. This was a brief introduction about SDG 4. Thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Niara. Thank you for sharing with us the solution for each point in SDG4. We do really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And now let's call our third speaker. We have my dear friend, Dr. Tiana Dena Jones from USA. She is owner and CEO, also concept director, executive director of Kelly Girl Books LLC, founder of All Life Do Exist and Women's Life Do Exist Global Peace Movement for equality for all existence of life. I know it's really early in the morning in there, but she already joined with us. So my dear Tiana, let's enlighten us with your knowledge. Welcome, dear.
Thank you for having me. And it is very early here, but I wanted to touch base on the topic of SDG 4 because quality education is a need for everyone in the United States and also globally. So we want people to know that technology can play an important role with this, because if we have a solution for this, then people all over the world will be able to use internet, technology, laptops, any type of tablets, phones, or any devices to learn through education online, such as IIU is a very huge platform as an international way of learning. And I believe that this summit is going to be highlighted for history and archived on YouTube and other platforms such as Facebook, social media. And this can help because people will need to learn what we're speaking about here and why we think that education is a quality necessity. So I believe that we should look at not just technology, but also media, because media is very important when you're spreading information about different important things such as quality education. Education can be learning information, and I think that is the main goal here, is spreading the information with awareness. By us all being from other countries and other places, it does give everyone hope that we can all be equal with equality. And that's why all lives do exist, because people exist to have equality in their education, in the fundamentals of elements of learning, and to connect with people from different parts of the world. So this is a great social network for us to communicate with one another, giving information on mental health, to spread that information of expression of speech and freedom of speech as well. As I am in the United States, we do practice our Constitution and freedom of speech, which is a form of our education and history in the United States. So education right now is based on all cultures, all ethnicities, all nations, and the education that they have for information to spread, whether it's history, science, whether it is mathematics, whether it is English, any type of language also to be learned to teach students and the youth is very important for communication skills, because that's what the importance is communicating with others and being frequently aware of how you're communicating. So education to understand what is being taught is also comprehension. You have to be able to comprehend what other people are trying to communicate to you, but you also have to be able to comprehend what history has happened in an existence. So for our history now is in the making, as IIU is here speaking with other speakers and having different moderators, speakers, and people of all nations come together. It's very important for us to take that technology advancement and use it in education and incorporate it in our learning. So I am so grateful to be here, and I am very interested in hearing more from the other speakers, because there's so many other nations on here beside the United States and Indonesia and also Croatia and India. And I see so many people that are advocates for us here. So that is amazing to see that. And I really do appreciate being invited to these conferences. And that the reason is because we all have a sense of knowledge, whether it's research, whether it's new discoveries or knowledge. This all has to be archived as part of history to go through giving people more knowledge. So education has always been something taught, but can be also updated. That's another thing, is everyone deserves that equality of updated information, updated knowledge, updated education in every aspect. And that equality should be shared using, again, social media, technology, any way that we can give them that free education just by tuning in here today on Facebook. I see we're live on Facebook. IIU is sharing a live feed right now, and that is helping a lot of people learn from these moderators and speakers, such as myself, just giving them that encouragement and that hope that they too can have equality, and they too can have freedom of speech, and they too can sign up with IIU to be able to speak at these conferences, and such as All Lives Do Exist as well. We want to share each other's knowledge here, and that's just by, again, being able to comprehend and communicate. And this is the way of life. I believe that we all have to share this information, whether we're a professor or we're the student. I'm a student at the University of Phoenix, and I'm getting my Bachelor's of Science applied in psychology, concentrated on technology and media. And I feel that we all have a chance to learn our education. And I'm actually taking my education through the internet using technology, my laptop. So while other students are in the university and they have to go indoors, I'm able to still be here with you today, but also be in school at the same time by using technology. So to bring that equality worldwide, we're going to have to spread more awareness on technology classes and showing the right tools and materials that can be learned through using a computer, because a lot of people are not aware of using the technology. Some do not know how, and some are still, not able to have access to a computer in other countries. So my advice to people that are listening in, you are able to do more than what you're taught to do. You have to use your mind and have strong methods of learning by accepting that you too are free for equality. You too deserve education. So that could be going to a local library, going to a community center, going to even the police station if they're open in other countries to give you access to the internet. It just depends on your government and where you are able to go. But I believe that you can too have free education if you're seeking it. Talk to someone who is already educated. Those people can show you and lead the way to show you how to have free education. And I believe everyone here has different meanings of learning, but it doesn't matter what you want to be, because you can be anything you want with your mind, and you can be anything you want when you actually put your efforts toward that. I've seen a lot of people from Nigeria be very successful. Other countries like Croatia be very successful, Indonesia, because they're using technology to get their degrees. They're using the internet to go and take their classes, such as myself in the United States of America. Because when COVID hit, a lot of people were not able to go indoor to the schools because a lot of people were not vaccinated or they were sick. So I think that we can take that same morality of, okay, this just happened. We're still in a pandemic. How can we utilize technology to get our education? And that forms awareness to give equality. And I believe that this will help the world quickly adapt to virtual learning. And virtual learning will give people a way of life that is new, and it can be seeming scary or pressure for anxieties, but if you take your time to learn about it, you can get this done. And you can actually Google different classes and different schools that are offering international learning. So for the people who are here today and they want to go to school and they want to increase their awareness on their education, go on Google and use the internet to search and research what you want to do and how you can get it done, because that is the way for you to succeed. I want to thank everyone here for listening to me and helping me stay awake and giving me encouragement to tell people solutions to make this SDG available to everyone. Quality education is important and we all deserve that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my dear Tiana. It's really amazing speech as always. And yes, in this digital age, I think blended learning or all kind of education with online system, it's such a solution, because like we don't have to travel to another places, and maybe we can notice like if we drive to school or do kind of outside things with the motorcycles, vehicles, cars, and etc. It can really make another pollution. So actually, online learning is such a great tool, especially in this digital age. So now I'm going to call our next speaker. We have a great personality from Philippines. He is Professor Dr. Romero G. Bautista. He's a professor for an international relation officer, Curiosity University in Philippines. Welcome, sir.
Thank you,
Welcome
ma'am.
and enlighten us.
Yeah, please allow me to share my screen.
Yes, you can.
Uh, Okay. All right. So I'll be talking today about Sustainable Development Goal number 4, and this is on quality education. So basically, Philippines belongs to the ASEAN region, and my talk will be centering on the classroom initiatives where educationists can join the call for the Sustainable Development Goals. So in the ASEAN region, what will be the future direction are we heading to? Okay, so as we all know, there is an ASEAN 2025, and this centers on digital revolution. So as part of the call for Sustainable Development Goals, it can be noted that our lives goes digital every day. We also have our local champions leading the way, and we also embrace Industry 4.0, the fast and efficient public service, and the rise of digital natives. So all of this are basically confronted during the time of the COVID-19. So basically we are in the VUCA D square, we're in VUCA D square world. So V stands for volatility, U for the uncertainty, C for the complexity, A for ambiguity, diversity, and of course, disruption that we have. So with the disruption that we had in 2020, that basically our classrooms are already in, are bested basically with some uncertainties that up to this time, we are still at lost. So basically how universities are evolving, we have the so-called the transformation from our universities into multiversities of learning, wherein we can say that there should be a wellspring of innovation ideas so that we can say that there is a sustainable development as a path for the quality of education in our educational hubs. So educational hubs at the helm of Sustainable Development Goals should be a multiversity of learning between global trends and the national trends. So considering, therefore, the societal landscape, where does education come in? So at the dawn of Industrial Revolution 4.0, when we can say that there is a complex system of relationship, there should be speed, relevance, and connectivity. Unfortunately, Philippines is one of the countries which has a very poor internet connectivity. And this was our problem to respond to the call for quality education during the time of the pandemic. And I may surmise that even some parts of ASEAN basically were having the same problem as well. So we have our Internet of Things, the additive manufacturing, the simulation, augmented reality, system integration, automated robots, big data, and the like. In the Philippines, we are starting our quest to improve our education system. With the birth of the COVID-19, technology has already played a great role in our educational system. And we must admit, these technologies in education will stay forever, and we need to cope up with this. So for us to do this, we can say that there must be a blending of the revolution of change, which is basically under the helm of SDG 4, the evolution of learning, which is basically geared towards an enhanced excellence, which counterparts the culture of evidence. So how do we do that? Basically, number one, there should be scholarly works among our scholars, and this should emanate from us, the professors, the teachers, and the like. We should also facilitate disruptive thinking in our students. There must be a continuous expansion and adaptation within the inter and multicultural competences among our learners. There should also be a creative pedagogic innovations with that of disciplinarity to transdisciplinarity, and there should be a way paving for appreciative intelligences, which ignites transformative changes in our system, in which our students should become system thinkers. What? I am lost. Am I hanging? All right. So how do we do that? Basically, each school, each university should turn into a global village with that of an intensified investigative culture that is needed. And for us to do that, for us to say that we are offering quality education at par, we should go back into the scholarly practice that we have. The teaching that we have in the classroom, together with the research and the service-based inquiry, which proliferates learning. Intensifying research basically is paramount to an opportunity that will open all the roads across discipline towards excellence. We must admit that in education, research plays a very important role in its investigative culture. So for us to do this, then we must build and sustain an investigative culture among our students with the student relations, school-wide relations, results-oriented, student-centered, work orientation, future-oriented, and school-family relations. It boils down to an investigative culture that will only be done through research undertakings. Intensifying research is paramount to a global ecosystem. That's basically the global, national, local, which cultivates the reservoir of instantaneous information. So how do we do that? Number one, we need to establish a strong research base, a strong research foundation among our students. Number two, we need to have infrastructures, just like, for example, hypertechnologies, the Mendeley and Vibo, Lisrael, etc. And of course, the research niche of our teachers and our students. We need to establish all of this so we can say that we can have an opportunity paramount to a sustained experts connectedness in terms of mentoring, coaching, critical reviewing, and the like. In my case, at Carino State University, I have a lot of experts to call on, and one of them is Professor Nada. Professor Nada was one of my speakers in one of my academic cross-pollinations that involves foreign nationals to curate our learning structures and our learning procedures. Second is, of course, we must develop this kind of mindset or the risk perspective among teachers and students, which basically advances the frame of judgment. All of these are basically the emerging tribes of the critical mass of thinkers, according to Zhang in 2014. So how do we do this? We complement our global visions. We incubate creative, implementable, and radical breakthroughs in education so that we can say that we blend it with the wellsprings of innovations and ideas, which basically a quantum leap for mediocrity. Our inward looking in this situation is our learning climate, how to improve our system and tantamount to the academic rigors that we are telling. So with that, thank you very much. And my apologies for not opening my video because it's pretty dark here in my area. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Miro. We do really appreciate it. And it was really great presentation with insightful things. And we really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Professor. Even though it's dark in there and you have power issues, you're still with us. It's really amazing. Thank you so much, Professor.
Permission
So
to
now,
leave. Permission to leave as I really have enough battery here right now.
yes, it's okay, sir. We can understand it. And thank you so much and have a great
Yes,
weekend.
Dr. Ramiro,
you.
thank you for joining us. It was so great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Nada.
Okay, so now let's call our next speaker. We have another great personality for today from Bangladesh. He is Ambassador Nur Ahmed. He is youth activist, international speaker, moderator, SDG ambassador, and peace ambassador. Welcome, Ambassador Nur Ahmed. Let's enlighten us with your knowledge.
All right, so can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
First of all, I take my sincere apology for not opening my camera because I have been opening my camera and that time Zoom and network kicked me out several times. Even I have joined from the 15th time from the very beginning of this program. Anyway, so right now I'm I just off my camera to share my words perfectly. So it would be okay. So I want to share any kinds of PowerPoint on a slide, but I would like to focus the current and the main context of today's topic. Okay, today's topic is talk about, and before that, thank you so much for inviting me in such a fantastic way. So as we know that today's topic is SDG4, that is quality education, but its topic is of education for sustainable development. What does it mean? What does sustainable mean? Sustainable, what will we actually cope up with and or actively participate for the 4 different sector that is perfectly articulated by our first speaker today. But I'm focusing, is the quality education or education is perfectly done in our country? Dear Honorable, I would like to focus that I have done, just I'm giving an example that I have done 16 years of my education. Then I tried to enter the interview board. I participated several times of interview for getting a job. At that time, I realized that my education, the 16-year education, is nothing but a piece of paper of certificate. Trust me, because of there is I'm extremely sorry, the curriculum is not that updated. We have learned a bookish knowledge which can't execute in the practical scenario. So in this perspective, I would like to focus, we have to have a sustainable curriculum. So what does it mean, sustainable curriculum? Sustainable curriculum, which the topics and which the subject need to be enlisted within our educational system. Because we have learned some knowledge, even our, whenever we have a traditional curriculum system or existing curriculum system, that time our teacher, even our parents are inspired, even for some time, to get a good score or to be a topper or to get a high CGPA to add the value towards others that are my kids, my son, my daughter got the highest CGPA in this university, and that's end. Trust me. So we have to have, because as a young professional, I know what kind of topics need to be enlisted in our curriculum. What kind of topic need to enlist our curriculum to know, to execute. Why I'm talking about the no? Because today we are talking about sustainable development, but it's very seems funny and hectic to know that most of the students don't ever know what does SDG mean. What are the 17 SDGs? Even let's forget about the student. I'm focusing some of my colleagues from my office. They don't even know that. So what should we do? Because we don't have that much curriculum, we don't have that much knowledge to spread, and that's the reason of our existing traditional curriculum. So definitely our curriculum should be a sustainable curriculum for every single student, for every single man, because we have to have that much knowledge. Okay, number one is a focusing. Another one that I'm focused, this is also have done our first speaker of today. We are talking about education on sustainable development, or quality education. It's a kind of different context. When we're talking about the education of sustainable development, the sustainable development, some context need to be enlisted in our education. But when we are talking about the sustainable development on education, that means we have to have the overall impact in our educational system. So there's a two different contexts. So I would like to add one word, like it's sustainable and eco-friendly education system. Because eco-friendly is why I'm talking that, because for the traditional educational system, we have to have a lot of paper, a lot of use of books, a lot of paper for exam and some other things. So we have to cut down more trees. As you know, the global warming is going on, and that is impacted badly in our world. Why some global impact, the Australia, Sydney, they are facing the wildfire, and some other country they are facing several disaster, natural calamities, so many things. So why we are right now still doing this, as well as maintain the curriculum, like using the paper. Okay, for the COVID impact, for the COVID into the third world country, even some south part of country, some African nation, they have to have the force, ultimate force, or the invisible force to comply with or in line with to continue the education through online. Trust me, if you go through the say regular system, the online system will not develop that speedy time. That will develop after 5 to 10 years. But the COVID is a positive sign that will actually force us. Ultimately, we are develop or come ahead at least 5 to 6 years. So right now I'm focusing. So maybe you are asking that question that do you think the online education is perfect or offline education is perfect? So question will be vice versa, but I'm focusing the answer is both. If we are considering the online education system, trust me, most of the student will switch off the camera and do some other things and some other things, because there's a lot of way they actually skip this. But if we utilize both systems together, like offline and online, trust me, the system will ultimately upgrade for the any kinds of sustainability. And okay, this is another blend way, that is I focus one thing, that is uh, eco-friendly or sustainable curriculum. Number two is both educational system. And number three, that I would like to focus that the information that we have to have, like if we consider that sustainable development, we are talking several crises, several things. Do you know what kind of several things we have to have in line with? So in that perspective, educational system, our teacher, that should also be highlighted, that we have to have the participatory teaching and learning method that actually motivate and empower the learner to change their behavior and take action for the sustainable development. I repeat, participatory training system. Trust me, when a teacher, I'm sorry, I respect all my teacher. I'm focusing when a teacher have their training system is like to share the information, go through in drastically. Trust me, most of the students are not participate that time that much. Even their mind is diverted from the other side. So I think the participatory system, both training as well as class, that would be another great movement for any uh, speedy, or perfect education. So education for sustainable development require far-reaching changes. The way of education is often actually practiced today. And if you consider that, is there any correct pedagogy? No, there is no pedagogy for the sustainable education, but there is a broad content, a consciousness that actually require for the shift toward the active, participate, and experiential learning method, because it's ultimately engage the learner to make the difference to their understanding and thinking and ability to act. So I'm ending my speech by giving 5 ways that will actually reflect our student to have the sustainable educational system. Number 1, critical reflection. Actually, the critical reflection, including the more traditional lecture, but also newer approach such as reflexive account, learning journals, discussion group, and some other way. Number 2, that is systematic thinking and analysis. This is basically used for the real world case study and critical incident, project-based learning, and some other things that will help the systematic thinking and analysis thing. Number 3, participatory learning that I shared earlier. And number 4, that is thinking creativity for the future scenario. And in that perspective, how can you do that? You can using a role play, real world inquiry, future visionary, problem-based learning, and some other things. And number 5, that is collaborative learning. That is also including the contribution from the guest speaker, work-based learning, interdisciplinary, and some other multidisciplinary working, and some other things. So I think if we are talking about the education, we have to consider those things in our practical scenario. I hope that this we have done a lot of things in our educational system. We have done a lot of online session in our day-to-day things. But trust me, if we are really work on for our sustainable development on the educational system, we have to have we have to raise our voice more and more and share our thought and ideas to the all the educational ministry or educational system bodies. So that would be work in the near future. So thank you so much, dear Honorable, for listening with patience, and I'm really honored to be participate over here.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Nur Ahmed. It's really great speech. And yeah, I think we have need kind of a clear curriculum for sustainable development, because yeah, if we don't have a clear direction, then we might don't know actually where is going to be the end of something. So now I'm going to call our next speaker. We have a really amazing personality from my own country, Indonesia. She's Dr. Firdaus Basbet, Dean of Faculty of Business and Social Science, Binawan University. Welcome, Dr. Firdaus.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So I will go directly to my presentation. Let me share. Okay. And all right. See, unlike other speaker, I have a different opinion. It's a bit of a criticize rather than agreeing on education for sustainable development. This is based on mini research that I did recently. It's about education for sustainable development. Is it education for the future? That's opening question for this presentation, with the background that, so based on the Millennium Development Goals, education for sustainable development and education for sustainable development goals were established. Despite that, the willingness of many educational institutions worldwide to embrace the SDG, then some question arise whether ESDG is desirable as an education for the future. So yet the current hegemony of the sustainability through growth paradigm has actually increased inequalities and pressure on natural resources, exacerbating biodiversity loss and climate change and resulting social tension. So based on the limit to growth, so report concern about human population growth and increase in consumption. So early environmental education before the ESDG was targeted toward making students aware of ecological damage and motivating them to better protect the environment. So this early environmental education was promoted by Belgrade Charter, initiated by the United Nations Education, UNESCO, and the United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP. So the charter developed education guidelines for students to acquire an understanding of basic ecology and awareness of the natural world and its current plight, sensitivity to the need for protecting the nature, and acquisition of understanding and skill to help address environmental change. Then, in less than a decade, a shift toward now the sustainable development in education has occurred based on the Bruton report published by the World Commission of Environmental and Development. Education for Sustainable Development, or ESD, was developed. So the consequence of the United Nations Decade of Education for Sustainable Development, which lasted between 2005 and 2014, has placed more emphasis on the social and economic aspect of sustainability. Okay, so the fourth goal, for example, the fourth goal of the SDG 4 to develop quality education postulate that every learner should acquire the knowledge and skill needed to promote sustainable development. So this assumes, of course, that sustainable development is desirable. So now, not everybody agrees on this assumption. So first, we need to ask, what is the aim of education? What it's or should be the aim of education in the context of higher education and sustainable development? So Gov and Scott have wondered whether university exists not merely to service the economy, but to contribute to the intellectual and moral improvement of the human condition, and not for economic development only. So education is related to broader societal goals, provide students with the necessary skill to address societal challenges. The challenges lack clear solution in SDG because each issue is linked to other issue and the problem cannot be easily isolated. For example, when the first two aims of the SDG, eliminating poverty and hunger, are addressed, this is likely to result in an increase in consumption of natural resources, thus exacerbating environmental crises from biodiversity to climate changes. This crisis in turn is likely to affect the long-term social and economic development. So those two goals are contrary to other goals. So what is wrong with ESD and ESDG? The concept of sustainable development is mostly centered on simultaneously addressing triple social and economic and environmental objective, the triple P, people, profit, and planet. But the triple objective are supposed to be achieved through economic growth and development. By contrast, the concept of environmental sustainability takes integrity of the ecosystem, as people and profit are highly dependent on the planet. So many critics have noted that it's precisely economic growth and industrial development with associated population and consumption growth, increasing the demand for natural resources that are the root cause of environmental unsustainability. And this critique underlies the oxymoronic aim, continuous economic growth, For example, sustaining the resources for future generation. There's wanting to keep your cake and eat it too. Yeah, so it's a contrast. So you cannot keep your cake while you want to eat it. Sustainable development, when applied to education, has often resulted in contradiction. So some researchers say that critical scholars have noted that social and economic priorities are being taught at the expense of ecological considerations. So all the education now is centered on the growth of economic priorities. So similarly, UNESCO Teaching and Learning for Sustainable Future program essentially stress only on the social and economic priorities in our education, with the exclusion of philosophical principle. So in the Western context, the growing acceptance of SDG exhibit this hegemonic tendency. So environmental education developed previously has both ecocentric in the sense of recognizing intrinsic value in the nature, and also at the same time anthropocentric in the sense of focusing on human benefit of nature. So by contrast of the previously environmental education, ESD tends to be highly anthropocentric. Inclusive economic growth, a term mentioned multiple times in the SDG, doesn't include the interest of billion non-human species. Yes, there are 2 of 17 SDG, SDG 14 and SDG 15, which mention biodiversity on land and underwater, but nothing is said that about the ethical implication of the self-declared right to use and manage the life of non-human species. So the SDG remain vague for, by some critics in SDG education, how hunger is to be solved by producing more food. Okay? And they are offering alternative for education, like the growth in both population and consumption, and also alternative about ecocentric education. So we must go to eco-pedagogy as having its purpose to educating planet citizen to adopt lifelong caring and appreciate for the nature. And also the alternative to address this, that for both teacher and learner, active participation in the example of famous schoolgirl we know about the Greta Thunberg and climate protest, would further encourage active citizenship, not only in education. In more ambitious vision, education can help develop political and legal instruments against ecocide, with informed young people supporting equal representation. So some alternative, we have 3 at least from my literature review. Number 1 is ecological citizenship education. Number 2 is indigenous learning. Education should be founded on cultural democracy, indigenous sovereignty, human rights, and respect for all life, including spiritual and intellectual, like we found it in Eastern culture. Then number 3 is empowerment education, for the need to address the interaction of the human population, biodiversity, and education. For example, girls with better education tend to have smaller and healthier family, women with access to reproductive health service, including family planning, have lower fertility rates that contribute to slower growth in greenhouse. Then next to number 3 is ecocentric education, focus on ecological values, not focus on the growth of the economics. Number 4 is alternative of economic model. So we teach in school not that one economics model by the Western, but also the alternative economic models. For example, O'Neill proposed the degrowth, an alternative evaluation for progress beyond the common GDP. So economic now, the measure is only for the GDP measure. The objective of degrowth is stressed that to meet basic human needs and ensure a high quality of life while reducing the ecological impact. So he proposed a measure of degrowth transition through environmental and societal accounts with the integrity of ecosystem and non-GDP related. Then the last is, so far they said none of the document listed by UNESCO related publication mention degrowth, steady state economy with 0% growth GDP or any measure addressing population and consumption growth as the cornerstone of the circular for the future responsible citizen. They said this is a missed opportunity as the growth aims to drastically reduce natural resource use while maintaining the well-being of the planet. Then conclusion, finally, while generic education is not called education for anything, education should be free, education for anything. So its intention to facilitate the supposed universal good. So ESDG openly state that it is for the SDG, just bearing its ambition of becoming universalizing discourse. So an argument that education for sustainable development and education for sustainable development goals exhibit some worrying tendency and contradiction because this education is based on the broader objective on sustainable development, which stand on focus on economic measure concerning poverty alleviation, health improvement, but which do nothing to slow growth in population and consumption, while sustainable development and the SDG tend to prioritize sustainable, inclusive economic growth. So there are some alternatives, for example, non-economic center education, and then degrowth or education that target both non-anthropocentric ethic and pragmatically. So thank you very much for listening. So I will do my next research to maybe to counter these critics, and then I will present it next occasion. Thank you very much. I'll go back to you, Herdiana.
Thank you so much, Dr. Firdaus. It was a really great presentation, and we are eagerly waiting your next research and share it with us because it's really wonderful information. You had a very insightful presentation, and we do really love it. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Firdaus. So now I'm calling our next speaker, another great human being. I think some of you already know him. He is Dr. Adogun Joseph Kayode from Nigeria. He is corporate branding strategist and leadership coach and Juba Consult. Welcome, sir.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are listening from, it's a pleasure to be here today. I want to say congratulations to everyone here. I also want to appreciate Idiana for a job well done so far. I want to appreciate everyone, especially my friend, Professor Nada Ratkovic, and also Professor Charles Eboria for always being available for programs like this. I've listened to some of the facilitators, and they've shared their insights as regards the topic of the conference. I don't know if my slides can be seen. Can you see my slides, please? I want to be sure.
Yes, it's visible, sir. You can put it in full screen.
Okay, that is okay. Thank you. I guess it's on full screen now. Okay, thank you.
No,
Briefly,
yeah.
Okay, briefly, my name is Professor Dr. Adeogun Kayode. I'm presently the Vice Chancellor Africa, Wisdom University of Leadership. I'm also a Professor of Leadership at Wisdom University. So my presentation today, we focused on the relevance of STEM, that we all know as science, technology, engineering, and mathematics for sustainable development goals. So my presentation, we explore the relevance of STEM education to the attainment of sustainable development goals, that is SDG 4, which focused on the importance of quality education. You will agree with me that it is not possible to achieve sustainable development goals without quality education. Is that not so? So hence, whether we are talking about no poverty as one of the SDG goals, whether we are talking about zero tolerance to hunger, decent work and economy, and industry innovation and infrastructure as one of the SDG goals, you will agree with me that the relevance of education cannot be overemphasized. So hence, my presentation will focus on 5 reasons to focus on STEM education in 2023 and also going forward as regards developing our education sector all over the world. So the first relevance or importance of a STEM education that I want to recommend to everyone, to those that are in education or stakeholders in education, is that STEM jobs are the future of our economy. You will agree with me that a robust STEM education is becoming more and more important to our economy, whether in your country, whether in the world at large. Employment in STEM occupation is projected to grow between 8.8% by 2028, according to World Health Organization, and it is also backed up by UNESCO. And it also emphasized that whether it is healthcare occupations, which generally required a strong STEM background, are projected to grow even more. So that goes to tell you that as far as education is concerned, when we focus on STEM jobs, it paves way for the future of our economy. Meanwhile, non-STEM occupation, it was also researched that it will only grow for 5%. So what that simply means, or what that simply emphasized, is that jobs that require STEM background are more likely to provide solid wages. STEM workers will earn an average of $86,980 in 2019. That was a projection back then. So imagine what it will provide in the future, in 2023, and also in years to come. So that goes to tell you that the importance of STEMs for future of the economy cannot be overemphasized. Another area why STEM education is important to the future of education, especially to our students, is that STEM teaches critical thinking and innovation. It teaches critical thinking and innovation. STEM education, as you may probably be aware, does not only help students who plan to go into STEM careers. The focus on logical thought processes and problem solving allows students to develop mental habits that will help them succeed in any field they found themselves. Think of any field. Once they have, once they are well grounded in STEM education, it helps to increase their intelligent quotient, their critical thinking and innovation. STEM coursework also challenge students to think critically and come up with their own solution. As a result, students who receive a quality STEM education, they are primed to become the next generation of innovator. So you will agree with me that with what I've mentioned earlier, STEM teaches critical thinking, it teaches innovation. That is why in the classroom, using gamification as one of the tools to teach the students or one of the instruction materials, the importance cannot be overemphasized. Another relevance of a STEM education is that STEM classes provide unique opportunity for teamwork. Teamwork is one of the most underrated and important drivers of success. So living and working in the modern world, you will agree with me, whether you are in different careers or you are in education sector, it requires some degree of collaboration. Is that not so? Partnership, and often with a large and diverse group of people. So STEM classes often involve more than team activities that often, involve coursework. So when our students are working together on a large investigation or collaborating on an engineering challenge, they are actively developing the interpersonal and collaboration skills they will need later in life when they start working or when they create their own job as entrepreneurs. Another importance of STEM education as far as sustainable development goal is concerned on quality education is that a STEM curriculum, if well utilized in education sector, it will help students develop a project management skill. So hence, STEM courses, especially technology and engineering courses, you agree with me that it involves hands-on projects. Is that not so? So for a student that is well grounded in STEM education, in the future, when they want to embark on project management, their intelligent quotient on the use of project management skills would have been sharpened. So building a simple robot engine, a computer programs, you will agree with me that it involves multiple steps that are completed over several days. In the process of STEM education, students will learn how to manage their time, will learn to break larger projects into smaller tasks so that it can be measured, and eventually success can also be achieved or measured. So that is a skill that will help students that are well grounded in STEM education to achieve throughout their life, whether they are working on an office project or whether they are doing a home remodel. And the last but not the least, before I draw the curtains of my presentation, is that recent events have only made technology skills more important. You agree with me that COVID-19 has indeed reinforced the importance of technology. These days, and even on this platform, we are making use of an online platform to disseminate the relevance of quality education, sustainable development goal with focus on quality education. So with more people turning to Zoom, to Slack, to Team, to Google Meet, and other tools to connect with their family members and co-workers, it is very obvious that it is even more important to equip students to use and also to develop technology. I remember that Dr. Diana in her presentation also mentioned the relevance of technology in this 21st century. And what happened after COVID-19 or pandemic, many people and workplaces now retain some of their new technology habits. And this helped to build a strong STEM foundation now which sets students up for success in 2023 and also beyond. So to sum it up, you agree with me that the world we live in is changing. Hence, we must keep pace with it. We don't want to remain in one place like a stagnant water. STEM education changes society by offering learners a new mindset and skills valued in any profession. They allow young people to be flexible, to look for patterns, to find connections, and also to evaluate information. Besides that, STEM education also raises social awareness. It communicates global issues to general public. So my friends, my brothers, my sisters, and stakeholders in education, let us embrace STEM education in our schools so as to build the future of our students for what the world has to offer. Indeed, STEM education is relevant for sustainable development goals, for quality education, and when we embrace it, you will agree with me that we will be able to achieve one of the SDG goals, quality education. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for the opportunity given to me to be here today. Bye. Hello,
Thank you
I'm
so
done with
much,
my
Sir
presentation.
Adjunct. And yeah, I agree that we need STEM. Yes, we need STEM education for sustainable development goals. It's really amazing presentation. Thank you so much once again. So now I'm calling our next speaker, Dr. Bhavin Shah from India. He is HOD Electronic and Computer Science or Electronic Engineering in Atharva College of Engineering, Mumbai. Please welcome, sir.
Greetings to all from India. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you. Please allow me to share my screen. So I'll be talking on an overview onto the STEM for sustainable development. First of all, we need to know what is STEM. In the layman's language, we all know STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, mathematics. But these are all the interconnected fields to understand, explore the horizons of the new world and develop technologies to help us for the sustainable development. It also addresses us to the global challenges which are related to climate change, biodiversity loss, sustainable development, and provides knowledge and skills to develop the solutions to all these challenges. If you could see in the present slide, we are discussing onto the overview of the current global challenges. The topmost, that is the global warming, followed by climate change and biodiversity loss. If you could see the pics just right, this is one of the pic that was been clicked at a place in India during the lockdown period when there was no pollution, as everyone was inside their house. No CO2 gases, no hardly any carbon footprints. And this is certainly at a part just a few months after the lockdown. There's a lot of haze. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of congestion. Everyone is onto the rush. Everyone has to produce something. And in the whole things, we are really damaging the environment. Knowingly, unknowingly, we are damaging the environment. And this is where we really need to know and learn sustainable developments. The future needs to be protected. The environment needs to be protected. Nature does not need us, but we need the nature. And this is why we are talking about STEM for sustainable development. Global warming is something that refers to the gradual increase in the Earth's surface temperature, while climate change refers to the long-term changes that happens in the weather patterns and climatic conditions. Melting glaciers, rising of sea levels, and various other impacts are some of the consequences of the global warming, which has led to many disastrous things in the past. Climate change leads to significant impact onto human health over a period of time. When you are exposed too much to the air pollutions, it may cause you respiratory illness. If you are exposed too much to heat, it may cause you heat strokes. And at the end, as a result of infectious diseases and economic losses due to damage to infrastructure, property, and crops. Let me take you to a very wonderful AV that speaks about the nature.
Some call me nature. Others call me Mother Nature. I've been here for over 4.5 billion years, 22,500 times longer than you. I don't really need people, but people need me. Yes, your future depends on me. When I thrive, you thrive. When I falter, you falter. Or worse. But I've been here for eons. I have fed species greater than you, and I have starved species greater than you. My oceans, my soil, my flowing streams, my forests, they all can take you or leave you. How you choose to live each day, whether you regard or disregard me, doesn't really matter to me. One way or the other. Your actions will determine your fate, not mine. I am nature. I will go on. I am prepared to evolve. Are you?
Has been clearly evident from the AV and been correctly put on. Nature does not need people. People needs the nature. And we have to begin from somewhere. It's not about educating one. It's not about educating from start. It's about educating to all. Of course, it starts from the primary level, but the need of an hour is that each one of us get educated onto what is the real importance onto sustainable development and how to protect the environment so that we do not become the victim of global warming and the climate change. And this is where we talk about STEM education for sustainable development. It provides knowledge and skills needed to develop solutions for the environmental challenges by development of new technologies, improvement in waste management, and preserving the biodiversity. Few of the examples that you could see that for the waste management disposals, we used to have a common waste management system. But why can we not have 3 different waste management systems which could segregate the waste, that is the dry waste, the wet waste, and the biomedical waste, so that it could be reused and recycled. The most common type of waste that we used to do is the plastic waste. We used to drink a bottle of water and dump it around. Like us, there are many others over the world, throughout globally. And there are 3.3 trillions of plastic waste. What if we could not dump it around? We could definitely use it, recycle it for various parts and regards. Few of our case studies that we used to work on, one of our startup entrepreneur journey from our institute, Mr. Sarang Ambedkar, started with plastic waste management of 6th grade plastic by collecting the wrappers of the chocolates, the waste of the plastic waste of the various dairy products being served in the market, the plastic waste of bottles, and been converted into a product which includes mobile stands, which includes a pillow which been filled by the soft fibers of the dry waste plastic of the dairy products, and various others in the journey. The wet waste, of course, be converted into the compost, which can be used as an agricultural product for serving the farmers. And of course, the biomedical waste being needed to be dumped very carefully as in separations. On the left of the slide, you could see a farming technology that would help us for the more energy efficiency and promote sustainable agriculture in weather conditions. Also termed to as the hydroponic types of farmings. We definitely need to emphasize on reduce, reuse, recycle. Reducing the waste production is the need of an hour. We definitely do not want many things. We definitely do not want all the forms of usables that we used to buy. We definitely do not need a lot of plastic to be consumed each day. We need to reuse the materials as and when possible, which is only applicable if we go for the segregation of the dry waste, wet waste, and the biomedical waste. And recycle to reduce the amount of waste that we need to dump for the landfills. And this is where the STEM-based solutions may help us to improve the waste management by developing newer materials that are easier to recycle, using machine learning techniques to optimize the recycling process, and developing waste to energy technologies that can generate renewable energy from the waste materials. Towards my right on the slide, you could see the life cycle process of how a waste being collected could be processed, recycled, and be generated into various forms of energies which could be converted into fuels, gas, and electricity. I would again want to like you to take you through a short AV onto sustainable development.
Hi guys, do you have time for a few quick questions? I see you're having a lot of fun, but do you ever stop and think if what you do is sustainable? And do you know what sustainable development means? Sustainable development is to make the world a better place for everyone now without destroying the possibilities for the next generations. If you wonder if something is sustainable, you can ask yourself, can we do this over and over again forever? Sustainable development means that we need to keep three things in mind at once: social progress, economic development, and climate and environment. First of all, we have to take care of our planet. We have many natural ecosystems that must be in balance in order for us to live here. The climate system is one of them. This system ensures that the temperature is correct and that the atmosphere emits exactly the right amount of solar energy. When we emit harmful greenhouse gases, such as CO2, we clog the atmosphere. This changes the temperatures on Earth, which again affects our development. How we produce and use energy is incredibly important. Oil and coal are examples of energy we may run out of. Water, wind, and sun, however, will always be here. Using the lasting sources of energy that renew themselves is good for the planet and can provide jobs for years to come. Economics. Almost everything we develop, buy, and trade starts with nature. The smarter we use our natural resources and the better systems we create for a fair distribution, the more sustainable we are. One way to contribute to a more even distribution is to be more aware of what we buy and how it is produced. A football is a good example. It travels far before it reaches the football players. First, the materials are made. Then, they print the logo somewhere else before a third country sews it all together. One single football sees the whole world before it reaches its goal. This journey ties us together. If we are to win the battle for a sustainable future, we have to play with fair rules that applies to everyone. Social progress. We humans are part of nature, but we're also important resources for the world. Just like water, the forest, and the sun, we have minds that can create the strangest and most creative things. But for us to be the best versions of ourselves, there are certain things that must be in order, like having equal opportunities to education, safety, food, and medicine. This provides greater opportunities for us as human beings, but also for the planet. We just have to think in new ways. These three must work together. That is sustainable development. And there is actually a plan for this. All the countries of the United Nations have agreed on a joint plan for sustainable development. But for the plan to work, we need to cooperate, and we need you to be on board. Are you with us?
With this, I would like to conclude by saying that it is not me that could bring about a change. It is all of us that needs to bring about a change. We could not rely on to just the primary level of education. Education at all levels onto sustainable development is the need of an hour. And reduce, reuse, and recycle should be the mantra for the sustainable development. The world is one family, Vasudev Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future. Thank you for the opportunity. Namaste from India.
Thank you so much, Dr. Buffin, for your wonderful presentation with great videos. I do really like especially the first video. And yes, nature systems don't really need people, but we need nature. So we have to keep it for our better generation. Thank you so much, Dr. Buffin, once again. So now I'm calling our next speaker. We have academician Dr. Dragan Jovanov from Macedonia. He is academician, inventor, scientist, researcher, educator, humanist, agroecologist, and phytotherapist. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And okay.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be part of International Conference Education for Sustainable Development. Thank you for inviting me, Professor Pradipta. Thank you at the organizing team. I'm honored. I speak shortly today. Education for Sustainable Development. It gives learners all against the knowledge, skills, values, and agency to address interconnected global challenges, including climate change, loss of biodiversity, unsustainable use of resources, and inequality. What are the education for sustainable development activities? 20 activities for kids to learn about sustainability. Recycle, create and label recycling bins with your kids at home so that the process is safer for everyone. Pick up the trash, short the garbage, plant a garden, make laundry product at home, reset items for crafts, make homemade art items, play outside. The 3 elements of education in sustainable development. It comprises integrate and indivisible 17 sustainable development goals that balance the 3 dimensions of sustainable development: the economic, social, and environment. Rule for education for sustainability. Basic education is the key to a nation's ability to develop and achieve sustainable targets. Education can improve agriculture productivity, enhance the status of women, reduce population growth rates, enhance environment protection, and generally raise the standard of living. Education and emergency context in immediately productive, providing life-saving knowledge and skills, and social support to those affected by crisis. Education also equips children, youth, and adults for a sustainable future with the skills to prevent disaster, conflict, and disease. And the end conclusion, education as a planet, and whether at a personal level on a small scale or an institutional level on a large scale, aims at making children capable of becoming active, responsibility, productive, and caring members of society. Thank you very much. I respect the time to all speakers.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dragan, for your amazing speech. We do really appreciate it. And now we have another amazing personality that already been with us since the beginning. I'm calling Senior Professor Charles, PhD, our Vice Chancellor from IIU. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, my able moderator. God will going to lift you high. God going to empower you with wisdom, with knowledge, with understanding. This is a great day that requires critical attention. Pay attention, because it's very necessary. Quality and STEM education is key to sustainable development. Good afternoon, my brothers. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening. Education for sustainable development is so key. I appreciate my friends, my able brother, Professor Pradita. I appreciate IIU. I appreciate everyone that are present here. And I appreciate all the speakers. God will come to lift you high and empower you. Irrespective of the SDG 4, we are to look at education for sustainable development in a critical manner. As we all know, that quality and STEM education is key. We need knowledge, we need skills to develop solutions. Hence the importance of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math education. This is all about addressing the interconnected global challenges, such as climate change, loss of biodiversity, unsustainable use of resources, inequality, air pollution, waste production, overfishing, ocean acidification. It will interest us to know that SDG Education for Sustainable Development framework aims at increasing the contribution of education to building a more just and sustainable world. We need the education of sustainable development so as to help countries grow in ways that adapt to changes posed by climate change, which will in turn help to protect important natural resources for us and for future generations. For estimation analysis, by the year 2050, our global population will likely reach 9 billion people. So there is need to protect our natural resources. Social development is important because all countries are expected to meet their basic need of employment, food, energy, water, and sanitation. Since everybody is rightful for a healthy, safe, and clean environment, to achieve this, we need to reduce our pollution, poverty, and unemployment. The following are the benefits of sustainable development. Products that create sustainable infrastructure should be upheld. Responsible energy user that helps to create a lower carbon future should be used. Safe and healthy quality working lives for our people. We should encourage products that accelerate more sustainable lifestyles. We should efficiently use our resources and maintain high recycling rates. We should emphasize, emphasis should be given to the use of air, land, water, and should be highly trusted. What are the pillars and dimensions of sustainable development? We have economic, we have human health and well-being, we have environmental, and we have social. How do we break down the sustainable development? We can break them down into 4 C's. What are the 4 C's? Collaboration. There is important of there is need for collaboration. Because of that, I will not express them. Maybe next time. 2, another C, control. Another C, communication. Another C, commitment. We need to be committed. What are the challenges of sustainable development? We have instability, we have implementation, we have the governance. Because of time, I don't need to express them. What are the challenges we face in Nigeria as per the sustainable development? We have poor funding education in the budget. We also have out of school children. We have prolonged neglect and learning environmental and faculties. What are the challenges of sustainable development in Africa? We have extreme poverty, we have rapid population growth rate, we have rapid urbanization, we have forestation, we have environmental impact of extractive industries. We also have rate of economic growth. What are the biggest threats we have in sustainable development? The impact will give big burden to the poorest and most vulnerable. What are the achievements of sustainable development in Africa? Efficient institutions that provide the right set of intensive to farmers and entrepreneurs are needed. Social policies are required to promote health, education, and social capital, providing safety nets to protect the poor. Investment are essential in the area of physical infrastructure and human capital. What are the factors that influence sustainable development? We have the social, cultural respect, we have the community participation, we have the political cohesion, we have the economic sustainability, we have the environmental sustainability. How do we manage sustainable development effectively? 1, don't underestimate the power of digitalization. Get the word out. We should uphold that word. Actively communicate with stakeholders. Make sustainability a top priority. Align responsible manager across business units to handle it. Quality education is the only thing that cannot be taken away. It is the key to fulfilling dreams. We need to help education to endure and to be sustainable. Kudos to our amiable, noble, Sir Advocate Piyush Pandey, who said education should reach every learners across the globe, and no child should be deprived of education. Together, we will ensure quality education for children across the globe. IIU has achieved excellency in the field of virtual education at an affordable price and free education for underprivileged, reaching every child at every doorstep across the world. We thank God for this opportunity. There's no time to expatiate further. But the little I've given, I know that quality education, STEM education is key to sustainable development. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Professor Charles, for your amazing speech. And yeah, it's really amazing to have all the experts in here. We know like education is such an important tool to spread the sustainable development goals, because no matter what, when we want to change something, we have to educate the people around it area first. So that's why education is really important, and that's why it can really be beneficial if we all together come to this field and work on SDGs stuff. So once again, congratulations to all amazing speakers, to the organizers for today. It's really honor and pleasure to spend my Saturday night with all of you with amazing, great speech and presentation. I do really appreciate it. And Professor Nada, what do you think about this?
What I think, I'm just a little bit bad connection, so I see it by my mic. What to say from the beginning, all the speakers today were really great. We heard different views from the starting about the education for sustainable development. Each one speaker gives his insights, what he's thinking about education for sustainable development, what he's doing, the criticism, what is good, what is not good. But what would I say? I would say that education for sustainable development means a very including key about the sustainable development issues. Like an educator, I would say in teaching, learning, like example, climate change, we have so many disaster risks reductions, the biodiversity, the poverty reduction, and the sustainable consumption. If we say what education for sustainable development is in United Nations, in UNESCO, this education sector is really a response to give us to the urgent situation, to the urgent challenges, to the dramatic challenges, to the planet faces. We are doing collective activities like human being, like educator, like entrepreneur, for the ecosystems, for the earth system. We want to survive. We need very survivable themes. I like Brother Noor's talks about the curricula, like an educator in each one, my curricula, my operative plan, in my all plans. I involve all 17 SDGs coming from Europe. Europe is really working a lot on this education on sustainable development. Here at IIU, you see we have first SDGs competitions, then I organize each year a big conference for 17 days. We are doing a lot for the plants, for the forest, for the earth. As I said at the beginning, I called for the Olympic scientific Olympic, which will be in the E-Village. Our great founder, Sir Piyush Pandit, is making an eco-village with the big plants of the forests, doing a lot for the sustainable development. So there are so many capacities. We are acting, I can say, globally. So what do we need to know about education for sustainable development? There are many questions that we need to answer. As I said, Today, we hear a lot from our eminent guest speakers. They told us what is education, how does UNESCO work. So how can we be involved, and do we need to be more involved? So for us learners, education for sustainable development means knowledge, skills, values, and that all need to be addressed to the global changes, which are including climate change, loss of biodiversity, unsustainable use of resources, a big inequality everywhere today, a big inequality. So education for sustainable development needs to empower learners, students from all the ages to make decisions, to take care about their actions, even they are individual, collective action, to change the society, to take care for the planet. Education for sustainable development is a lifelong learning process, and it is really a part of education, but not only education, the cognitive, social, emotional, behavioral dimensions of all the learning, giving us the outcomes. Because we know when we are making lessons, lectures, everything, we need to get the outcomes. When we do a project, we need to see the outcomes, and we need to have a learning environment. So supporting colleagues in other countries, developing them, making new activities, addressing them. So that is what, and I think that we have an amazing audience. I want to give a big clap for our great audience who are with us by the Facebook today, because I was a little reading their comments. They are involved. They are involved in so many projects. They are acting on the different ways. So our mission is not only to talk, we need to act every day to protect our planet. So I think that I say enough. I can talk a lot. So that are my insights about this topic today. More knowledge, more skills, and yes, this year is a year of skills. This year is a year of innovation, of innovation in education, and we are still in the month of the woman. Digital for women. Our great professor Adelgun, our great professor gives of the points of the STEM. I'm also for the STEM in the education to bring more to the women and gender equality. So when we talk about this education for sustainable development, we're thinking about our sustainable future involving all 17 SDGs and what it means to say sustainable. Everything what we today are talking, we use this word sustainable. Yes, everything today needs to be sustainable, even what we are eating, what we are doing, what we are acting, and bringing that in gender equality. This will have an impact for the economics. Our great Dr. Fibaus talking about the situation, the impacts on the economy, decent growth, everyone well-being. So education, it is called education for sustainable development, but it don't means only educate. It means in each one aspect what we need to learn how to act, to be a better citizen, to have the values, to have everything in the sustainability, So, Herdiana, what you say?
Yeah, I think like some speakers already mentioned about the education and it's related to the technology. And I think, yeah, people might agree that we bring technology, advance in technology such as alternative way to make education more sustainable. But as Ambassador Ahmed have said before, like we also have to mention it, because if you want to make the education full online learning, for example, it might not be flexible, or it might not be great for some people in specific areas, which is they have maybe poor internet connection or maybe unstable internet
Like
connections.
we today,
Yes.
Nada lost 2 times
Yeah, when
today the internet connection by this conference.
yes, exactly. When the weather comes bad, maybe it's pouring outside, and so we cannot control it, right? We never
Yes.
can control what's going to happen outside of our house. So we have to be careful with it. So when we talk about the education and technology in advance, we also have to make sure that we put it in a right curriculum. Like when we want to put sustainable development in education, actually not in all countries we have a specific or maybe clear regulation for what kind of implementation that we want to take care of. So we have to make the government or the policymakers to make it clear where we want to go with it, or how far the education will take a part of it. Because yeah, some people might know about it maybe in a big cities, but the other people maybe who lives in, let's say, countryside, they don't know about it. Like what's actually sustainable development? They don't even know. And how can they implement in their own education when actually their education still needs several parts that needs to get fixed in the basic human rights? So we have to make sure that we make something more equitable, or maybe we can make flexible education for our world, for a better world. Because yeah, I'm really sure that we are doing this SDGs things to make better world, to make our world go hand in hand with nature. Because yeah, our earth is already getting old, and we already witnessed so many natural disasters that really tore ourselves. So we have to take careful, and when we want to spread awareness, we can start from education, because that's where people can gain knowledge. Like, okay, everyone might have smartphone or TV, but not every people going to watch the news. But maybe one children or two children at the same house, they are going to go to the school. But if the teachers keep going, or maybe getting commitment about the sustainable development goals, they're going to talk something important about sustainable development goals before and after the meeting in the classroom, that actually the new generation or the youth can get really great information about what actually they want, or maybe what actually they can give for our world. So it's really important for us to understand where we want to take our first step to get involved in the SDGs, especially the education, because actually the educators have to be committed if they want to take care of our world. And yeah, I think educators are really such as superheroes, especially in the implementation of SDGs, because like as we all know, teachers can influence students, but on the other hand, teachers can also bring something bad influence to the students. So I think government in each country has to make more mentorship program for education for sustainable development goals. I think that's all.
Yes. Amazing, amazing, Diana. Okay, so we come to the end. Let's see. Let's call our great Dr. Ringa for a few words before we finish. Dr. Ringa, please.
Yes. Oh, welcome to everyone from Georgia. Dear, I am excited because I learned even more from you today. Thank you so much, everyone. Everyone's presentation was focused on a very important issue. I will use this conference in my classroom as a meaningful activity. Yes, all of us educators, we try to work towards the sustainable development goals. And many thanks to Professor Pradita, my dear sister, Professor Nada, dear Mr. Peyash Pandit, dear Sniska Kadam, and a wonderful moderator, Diana. Thank you. All amazing speakers, and of course, all the participants around the world. Many participants we have today. Congratulations all. I'm also looking forward to tomorrow. I think this is also very important conference. Once again, congratulations to everyone on this successful day. Proud of you all. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, my beautiful sister. Thank you for being always with us in our events because, yes, we in IIU are a team. We are respecting each other. Thank you, Professor Charles, our great Vice Chancellor.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Snikta Kadam, for being with us. Our great Sir Piyush for giving us the opportunity, this great platform. Professor Pradipta, a big clap for you, for this amazing global educators group. And yes, today, each time we are coming with a new topic. We have always a new topic, and this topic today is very important. The day one was amazing, a marvelous event. Tomorrow we will continue. So till tomorrow, let's keep, like now our great Dr. Inga says, she will use this in her classroom. Yes, and Tiana at the beginning say, Media, why are we doing this? Because we are sharing knowledge. This is recorded. This video you can watch, you can use it like a example of good practice. So let's see tomorrow how we will continue. Till tomorrow, stay safe, stay healthy, and tomorrow at the same time, be with us. Thank you so much, our amazing guests and our amazing audience. A big clap for all who are today with us, supporting and writing excellent comments on the Facebook. Thank you so much, and bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day. Bye.
And Ferdiana, the nice time needs to come very soon. This is one from our climate action. Yes, problem. This not good time what we have. Yes, but we will solve that. We are here to
We
solve
met
it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.